How old are you?
I'm 19 years old.
And do you go by Madeline or Maddie?
Maddie.
Are you working right now or in school?
Yes, I'm attending University of Northern Iowa, and then I work at the admissions office at the college.
How old were you on June 20th, 2021?
18.
Were you working at that time?
Yes.
Where were you working?
Casey's General Store.
Where is Casey's located?
On Highway 13 in Coggon, Iowa.
How long did you work at Casey's?
At that point, almost 2 years.
About how many hours a week did you work there?
About 10 to 15 hours.
What was your title at Casey's?
A store member.
And what were your responsibilities?
I worked in the kitchen, and then I was a registered closer as well.
Are those things that you do both of them each shift, or you do one or the other each shift?
You do one or the other. So most of the time I'd work in the kitchen as a pizza maker.
Did you ever work a closing shift?
Yes.
When you're working a closing shift, what are your responsibilities?
If you're in the kitchen, it's mainly just making sure the kitchen is clean and prepped for the next day, making sure all the supplies are ready for the next morning when people come in at 5. And then if you're up at the register, it's just making sure the store is front-faced and the registers are closed down by the end of the night and the store is clean.
Were you working on Sunday, June 20th, 2021?
Yes.
Approximately what hours or what time of day were you working?
It was roughly between 3 to 4 till 11 o'clock.
In the morning or the evening?
Evening.
When you got to work that day, what did you do?
I came in and clocked in and met with my manager and the other member that I was working with that night.
Who else were you working with that night?
Jacob Christensen.
And were you going to be in the kitchen that night or at the register?
I was originally scheduled for the register and then switched to the kitchen.
Why did you switch?
Our manager told us that someone had come in that day and it looked like he was trying to rob the store, and I didn't feel comfortable standing up there and being up there all night if it did happen again. So I asked Jacob if I could switch back to the kitchen.
And did he switch?
Yes.
Around 10 or 10:15 p.m., did anything happen?
Yes.
What were you doing at that point in time?
I was washing dishes, trying to make sure the kitchen was clean.
Where in the store do you wash dishes?
In the kitchen, behind a wall that blocks off the kitchen to the rest of the store.
And what happened as you were washing dishes?
Jacob had come around the corner to tell me that someone suspicious had come in or pulled up into the parking lot, and just to stay back there and he would handle whatever happened.
And did he stay back with you, or where did he go?
He went back up to the front of the store.
What did you do?
I just continued to wash dishes, tried to wait back there until Jacob told me anything else.
When you're in the kitchen, can you hear what's going on in the rest of the store?
Yes, generally you can hear what's going on.
Okay. And as you were washing dishes, did you hear anything?
I heard the bell go off that someone had come into the store, and then I didn't really hear anything else because there was no talking going on. So,
what's the next thing that happened?
After a while, it was still kind of quiet in the store, which is weird if someone comes in. So I kind of peeked around the corner and saw someone standing by our beer cooler. So I just kind of went back to doing my dishes until I heard anything else from Jacob.
What did the person by the beer cooler look like?
They were very tall, broad, in like all black sweatsuit, basically.
Okay. The sweatsuit, did it have a hood on it?
Yes.
Was the hood up on the person's head or down on their back?
It was up on the head.
Could you see the person's face when you peeked around the corner?
Not at that time, no.
Okay. Do you know whether or not the person saw you when you peeked around the corner?
I have no idea.
What did you do after you peeked?
I kind of just went back to the point where they couldn't see me anymore, and had messaged another coworker that something kind of was uncomfortable and weird about the store, that I didn't know necessarily what was happening, but something just felt off. And I just kind of had stopped doing dishes to try and stay quiet back there.
The coworker that you texted, was it Jacob or someone else?
It was somebody else.
And was that person working that night?
No.
At that point in time, was anyone else working besides you and Jacob?
No.
Why did you text your other coworker?
I just didn't know what else to do because I didn't know if it was a point where I needed to call 911 or anything. But if I couldn't call 911, I wanted somebody else to know what was happening. So I just told Alex that something odd was going on at the store, and if I didn't respond, to maybe call 911.
Okay. Did Jacob ever come back to you again?
Yes, he came back after a little bit and told me that a person wanted me to come up front, but before I come up front to call 911.
And what did he do after he said that?
He went back up to the front of the store.
What did you do?
I called 911.
What phone did you use to call 911?
My personal cell phone.
Where were you when you did that?
Back behind the wall of the kitchen.
When you are behind the wall of the kitchen, can people in the store see you?
Not unless I'm like far enough out where I'm almost not behind the wall anymore. It's kind of hard to see behind the wall.
Okay. Were you far enough out where you were almost not behind the wall?
Not at that point, no.
Okay. Have you heard the recording of your 911 call?
Yes.
And does it fairly and accurately sound like the phone call that you made?
Yes, it did.
Okay. What happened as you were on the phone with 911?
I kind of started hearing stuff up front, like change and everything like that. And I heard voices, so I was just telling the dispatcher that there was a robbery going on, and I didn't know who was all in the store or anything, but I just told her what was going on.
When you say you heard change, can you describe what it sounded like?
I mean, it was enough to kind of be alarming because most of the time with customers, you only grab like a quarter or something out of the register, but like this was a fast flow of change coming out of the register, so.
Did it sound like it was more than the normal amount of change you would make for a customer?
Yes.
What happened next?
At that point, when I was still on the 911 call, I heard the door swing open to the kitchen, and so I told the 911 dispatcher I had to get off the phone, and I had ended the call and brought my phone down to my side.
Who came back into the kitchen?
The suspect, and then Jacob also was there.
What happened when they came back?
He asked me if I had any money or anything back in the kitchen, and I said I only had the food. And then he just made me, he asked me if I was on my phone, and I told him no. And then he told us to follow him to the cooler that's also in the back of the kitchen.
Who is the he that you were just referring to?
The suspect, I guess.
Okay. It wasn't clear if you meant the suspect or Jacob.
The suspect.
Okay. You said he told you to go to the cooler. Is that what you said?
Yes.
What did you do when he told you to go to the cooler?
I just followed him.
Why did you do that?
Because I was scared what else would happen if I didn't.
Did you feel like you had a choice in going into the cooler?
No.
What did Jacob do?
He also went towards the cooler.
Did you actually go inside of the cooler?
Yes.
What happened when you went inside the cooler?
The suspect told us to stay in the cooler and asked if we had any phones with us. And Jacob and I both said no, because at that point I put my phone on the table in the kitchen, and he had shut the cooler door.
Who shut the cooler door?
The suspect.
When he shut the cooler door, what did you do?
I sat there and I was scared, so at that point I started crying because I didn't know what else was going to happen.
Could you hear anything that was going on inside the store while you were in the cooler?
Not until gunshots went off, no.
How much time would you estimate passed from when the suspect shut the door to the cooler to the time you heard gunshots?
For me, it felt like forever, but I guess it probably could have been like 5 to 10 minutes.
What did you do when you heard gunshots?
I started crying more and scooted closer to Jacob.
What did Jacob do?
He hugged me and said everything was going to be okay.
After you heard gunshots, could you hear anything else that was going on outside of the cooler?
I started hearing sirens from police cars. That was about it.
What's the next thing that you heard?
I heard after the sirens that police officers were in the store, and at that point they had opened up the cooler to see Jacob and I in there.
What did you do when they found you in the cooler?
We just said that we were the Casey's workers and told them who we were, and then they told us to stay in there until they had cleared everything.
After they cleared everything, what did you do?
They told us to follow them out to the certain point in the kitchen and not to touch anything until we were told to.
I want to back up. You said when Jacob and the suspect came back to the kitchen, the suspect asked you for money.
Yes.
Do you have, or does Casey's keep money in the kitchen?
No.
Is there a register in the kitchen?
No.
Did you have money that you could have given to him?
No.
At some point in time, did you learn of any of your personal property that was missing?
I didn't find out until probably half an hour to 45 minutes after the police had got us out of the cooler, because they asked if I had any personal belongings in the store, and I said that they would have been up on the front. By the front, we had like a hook that we could put our personal items on. So I put my purse on there, and then I had looked over and I noticed that my stuff wasn't there anymore, so I told them that it was most likely gone.
What types of things did you have in your purse?
At that point I had my wallet, my Apple Watch that I had purchased, AirPods, and then my COVID vaccination card.
Was anything else from your personal property missing?
My car keys as well.
Do you have any type of keychain or that type of thing on your car keys?
Yeah, I had a UNI logo lanyard on it.
Do you know whether Casey's has surveillance cameras that show the kitchen?
They do, yes.
Have you watched the video from this incident?
Yes.
Does it fairly and accurately depict your actions while the robbery was occurring?
Yeah.
Your Honor, at this time, the state would move to admit State's Exhibit 12, which is the video in 911.
Who will be cross-examining this witness?
I will, Your Honor.
Mr. Stiefel, do you have any objection to Exhibit 12?
No objection, Your Honor.
Exhibit 12 is admitted. Did you wish to publish that this time?
Not yet. I was going to wait. There should be a binder right next to you, Maddie. Yep. Could you open it? Inside there is a tab with your name on it. And it should be State's Exhibits 13 through and including 16.
Yes.
Do you recognize what's depicted in those exhibits?
Yes.
What is it?
Towards the end, it's 15 and 16 is my. Yeah, sorry. 15 and 16 are my purse and personal belongings, and my wallet and my driver's license.
And in 13 and 14, do you recognize what's in those?
Yes, just the general store and the register.
Do they show where you put your purse on June 20th, 2021?
Yes, it's in the far left side. There's some white hooks that show where we put our stuff at.
Your Honor, at this time, the state would move to admit State's Exhibits 13, 14, 15, and 16.
Mr. Stiefel, any objections?
Not regarding 13 and 14, Your Honor. Regarding proposed exhibits 15 and 16, object on relevancy grounds until and unless there's further foundation as to when and where the items in those proposed exhibits were located.
The objections to exhibits 15 and 16 are overruled. Exhibits 13, 14, 15, and 16 are admitted.
And Your Honor, at this time, I would ask permission to publish those 4 exhibits as well as Exhibit 12.
You may do so.
Your Honor, may we readjust again?
Certainly. And you can feel free to do that whenever you need. You don't need to ask me.
Maddie, we're looking at State's Exhibit 13. Can you tell us what this is a picture of?
The front of the Casey's when you walk in the door.
And does it show where you put your purse that night?
Yeah, and on the left side where the pink and white thing is hanging on those white hooks, that's where I'd put my purse.
In State's Exhibit 14, what do you see?
The cigarette stand and then the white hooks where we put our personal belongings.
And in this picture, is your purse hanging from the hook that you put it on?
No.
Can you see the hook that you put it on?
Yes.
Would it be the one in front of the pink item?
Yes.
In State's Exhibit 15, what do you see?
My purse and my personal belongings.
Were these the belongings that were missing from the store after the robbery?
Yes.
And in State's Exhibit 16, what do you see?
My driver's license and debit card.
Where were your driver's license and debit card when the robbery happened?
In my purse.
For the record, I'm going to play State's Exhibit 12.
Linn County 911, what is your emergency?
911 at Coggon cases right now. Someone's robbing the store.
Okay. What do they look like?
It's a man in a black hoodie.
A black hoodie? Is it a male or female?
No,
Male? Have they taken anything yet?
I don't know.
Okay, where are you at?
I'm back in the kitchen, but he wants me up in the store.
Okay. 1 second, I'm gonna get people en route, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Yep, stay on the line with me here 1 second. Okay, are you still there?
Yeah,
Okay. Is he the only person in the store?
I don't know.
Okay, so are you just in the back? Are you by yourself?
He wants me to come up there.
Okay, what did he say exactly to you?
I don't know. He just told the guy who's up front to come get me.
Okay. Do you guys have cameras or anything up there?
Yes.
Okay, was the male a customer who told him?
We have to go. I have to go.
Okay. Okay,
When you made the 911 call, we saw you put your hand up to your mouth. Why did you do that?
I was just trying to stay quiet so no one could hear me.
You said that when you peeked around the corner and saw the person near the beer cooler, you couldn't see their face.
Yes.
Could you see their face when they came into the kitchen?
Yes.
How was the lighting when you were observing their face?
It was pretty bright. We always have kind of like LED lights in the kitchen.
Were you able to see the person's facial features?
Yes.
Could you tell if it was a man or a woman?
Man.
Did you know that person or was he a stranger?
He was a stranger.
Do you see him in the courtroom today?
Your Honor, I object to that question on the same grounds raised in the motion in limine on this issue.
Objections overruled. You can answer.
Yes.
Could you point to him and identify an article of clothing he's wearing?
Same objection, Your Honor.
Overruled.
He's over there in a white shirt and burgundy tie.
There are two men in that area you pointed that are wearing white shirts and red or burgundy ties. One is wearing a jacket, the other is not.
He's not wearing a jacket.
Let the record reflect the witness has made an in-court identification of the defendant.
The record may so reflect.
Is that the same person who wanted money from you in the kitchen at Casey's?
Yes.
Is that the same person who forced you into the cooler?
Yes.
I don't have any other questions.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take our afternoon recess.